and the Pittsburgh Pirates are at home to take on the Atlanta Braves in the first game of a twilight doubleheader. Here, Andy Van Slyke swinging the bat almost hits Mike LaValliere in the head, and LaValliere returns the favor by knocking off Van Slyke's hat. Jose Lean having a fun time out in second base, biting his glove. With one out in the bottom of the fourth, and Charlie Leibrandt pitching for Atlanta, Gary Redus would be on third base when Bobby Bonilla would drill this two-run home run to deep left field. For Bonilla, this would be his 24th home run of the season and would give him 76 RBIs. For Bonilla, the 24 home runs would tie a career high and extend his hitting streak to 12 games, also a career high.
Back in the fourth. Off the bat.
And as you can see here, Bonds does get hit in the head by Charlie Leibrandt, not the bat, in the bottom of the sixth inning. And later in the sixth inning, Jeff King would single up the middle and score Gary Redus and make it 3-0. And in the top of the eighth with one out, John Cangelosi would dive for this Lonnie Smith line drive, and the ball would just come out of his glove as shown here by this Pirate fan. And in the top of the ninth with one on, Dave Justice, who was just named the National League Player of the Week, would step up and belt his 16th home run of the year. This was a solo shot, giving him 44 RBIs on the year. For Justice, this was his 8th home run in the last 10 games. Doug Drabeck would indeed be victorious on this day, as here he would get Ernie Witt to line out to Bobby Bonilla for the final out and pick up his 6th complete game of the year, en route to a 3-1 Pirate victory. Drabeck would improve his record to 15-5 on the year, and Charlie Leibrandt would fall to 4-7.
Pirates, as the Pirates score early and often. Bottom of the first inning, Bobby Bonilla in some pain after he fouled off a Steve Avery pitch. You'll notice he has a shin guard there. The only problem is it doesn't go up high enough as Bonilla hits himself right in the shin. Much like in the first game, though, Bobby Bonilla up to bat with Gary Redus aboard and nobody out. And Steve Avery, the pitcher this time, and Bonilla drills this one down the line. It's a two-run shot. In the first game, he hit a two-run shot. So Bobby Bonilla with two-run homers in the doubleheader. This one gave Pittsburgh a 2-0 lead. And you take one more look as it hits the foul screen, and that one's fair. And Bobby Bonilla getting that shin taken care of by the trainer. Barry Bonds walked on 4 straight pitches. That brought off Jeff King, and he hits his 2-run homer to give Pittsburgh a 4-0 lead. He later added a 2-run double, so he has 4 RBIs in the game, 5 in the doubleheader. That made it 4-0 Pittsburgh, as Jeff King gets a standing O from the crowd. And Zane Smith making his first start for the Pirates and against his former teammates, the Atlanta Braves. Here back in the top of the first inning, he strikes out Lonnie Smith, the first batter in the game. So Zane Smith making the first start against his former teammates, the Atlanta Braves. And the crazed Zanoid would pick up the win in this one, as he evens his record at 7-7 in his first start. As a bucko, he came over from the Montreal Expos last week for Scott Ruskin. Top of the 7th, 1 on and none out. Francisco Cabrera hits this one over John Cangelosi's head. That hit coming off of Zane Smith as Jim Presley comes around to score. And Atlanta pulls to within 3 at 6-3 on Francisco Cabrera's first ever triple. But the final in this game would be 6-4. Bob Patterson comes in to pick up the save as he strikes out Dave Justice, and then Jim Batcher to end the game. The final 6-4 Pirates. Zane Smith gets the win. Steve Avery takes the loss. He's 2-7. And Pittsburgh sweeps the doubleheader from the Braves as they win the second game 6-4 and the first game 3-1.
Second game of a 4-game series as the Angels take on the New York Yankees. Coach Doug Rader giving his secret signs in the dugout, but it didn't seem to help much. As in the first inning, Steve Balboni singles into right field. This brings around Roberto Kelly to score, and the Yanks go up 1-0. Then the most unusual thing happened in the bottom of the second with the bases loaded. Tim Leary on the mound. Luis Polonia at the plate. He slaps one in the right field. Jesse Barsfield dives for it. The ball gets past him. Stevens comes in to score. Lance Parrish comes in to score. So does Dick Schofield. And here comes Luis Polonia for the inside the park grand slam. And yes, he makes it, as California goes up 4-1 on a very unusual Luis Polonia inside the park grand slam. But the Yanks would chip away in the top of the third to get 2 runs. And then in the top of the fourth with the score, California 4-3, Jim Leyritz takes Jim Abbott deep to left field for the solo home run. This ties the ball game up at 4-4. For Leyritz, this is home run number 4 and RBI number 14 on the year. With the backing of a few crime fighters in the bottom of the 5th, the Angels would explode as Chili Davis takes Tim Leary deep for the 3-run home run. This scores Luis Polonia and Donnie Hill. And California goes up 7-4. for Davis is his home run number 12 on the year. And then later on in the bottom of the fifth, Devon White would do the same to Leary. He goes to the opposite field for the 2-run home run. Lance Parrish was aboard, and this puts California up 9-4 at the end of 5 innings. The Yankees managed to get one more run on the board before Willie Frazier came in the top of the ninth. He gets Mel Hall to fly out for the last out of the game. California wins 9-5. Jim Abbott gets the win. He's 8-10. Tim Leary gets the loss. He's 6-15.
Boston at Oakland on Tuesday night. The A's have won 5 in a row, but will be without Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, and Ricky Henderson. 1-0 Sox, 2 outs, top of the second. When Jody Reed gets a blue base hit to center field, Tony Pena scores RBI 37 for Jody Reed, 2-0 Boston. Walt Weiss with the bases full, same inning, with a leaping grab on Wade Boggs' line drive toward left field to save a couple of runs. And Boggs is denied a couple of RBIs. Top of the 4th inning, Reggie Harris in for the A's. He'll make a spectacular catch, saving his face and protecting his life on Luis Rivera's line drive back to the mound. Tosses over to first base while lying on the mound. Tony Pena is caught off first base, and it's a double play for Harris as he catches it. On his back, throws to first base to get Tony Pena off of first base. 200 career start for Roger Clemens, bottom of the 4th inning. He strikes out Terry Steinbach, his 4th victim, to end the 4th inning. Move now to the bottom of the 6th inning. Roger Clemens on the mark today. He strikes out Doug Jennings, his 7th strikeout, and his 9th batter in a row. He has retired. Bottom of the 8th, Clemens again strikes out Walt Weiss, victim number 10. For Clemens, it's his 41st time in his career that he has struck out 10 or more batters. Move now to the bottom of the 9th inning. Roger Clemens, with 2 men on for Oakland, gets Terry Steinbach to pop out to end the game. The Red Sox win 2-0. Clemens ups his record to 17-5. Moore drops to 10-11. For Clemens, it's his 3rd shutout of the year. He has now won 5 straight decisions, and that snaps the Oakland Athletics 5-game winning streak.
Tuesday night baseball in New York at Shea Stadium as Tommy Lasorda and the Los Angeles Dodgers take on the New York Mets. In the top of the first, the Dodgers jump out to an early lead as Eddie Murray rips a single off of Doc Gooden. This brings around Lenny Harris and Kurt Gibson to score, and for Murray, RBIs number 69 and 70 on the year as the Dodgers jump out to a 2-0 lead. But in the bottom of the first with the Mets down 2-1, Howard Johnson takes Ramon Martinez deep to right field for the home run, his 18th of the year, with Jeffries and McReynolds aboard, and New York goes up 4-2. But the Dodgers tied it in the second 4-4. Then in the top of the third, Hubie Brooks takes Doc Gooden deep over the left field seats for home run number 16 on the year and RBI number 65 as Los Angeles jumps out to a 5-4 lead, and the seesaw scoring battle continues. But in the bottom of the fifth, the Mets catch the Dodgers catnapping as they explode for 5 runs. Here, Howard Johnson gets his 4th RBI of the night as he rips a single off of Tim Cruz, and Darryl Strawberry comes in to score, and the Mets go up 7-5. Then later in the fifth, Mackie Sasser gets RBI number 36 off of Ray Searage as he bloops one in the left field. Darryl Boston comes around to score as the Mets go up 9-5. However, in the top of the sixth, the Dodgers would make a run at it as Lenny Harris singles off of Dwight Gooden to score Mike Socia and Alfredo Griffin to make the score 9-7. The Dodgers would pick up one more run to make it 9-8. But in the top of the ninth, reliever John Franco comes in the game. He strikes out Kurt Gibson for the last out of the game as the Mets go on to win 9-8. Gooden gets the win. He's 12-6. Martinez gets the loss. He's 15-5. And Franco gets his 26th save of the year. The Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Ron Darling and Rick Viola watching teammate David Cone go to work here in the top of the third. He strikes out Juan Samuel for his 5th strikeout of his 8 on the night. And Cone went 4 innings with a 1-hitter and a shutout. And then on the other side, Mike Hartley for the Dodgers, making his first major league start. Here he strikes out Darryl Strawberry for one of his 2 strikeouts. And Hartley went 6 innings without giving up a run and only 1 hit. Then finally in the top of the 6th, Lenny Harris hits the short ground ball that Craig Jeffries cannot handle. And this allows Mike Sharpison to come in to score, and Los Angeles goes up 1-0. Then in the top of the 7th, Rick Dempsey lines a single to center field, and this allows Eddie Murray to come in to score, and Los Angeles goes up 2-0. And finally, the Mets get on the board in the bottom of the 7th as Darryl Strawberry takes Dave Walsh deep to right field for home run number 27 on the year and RBI number 77. but Los Angeles is still up after 7, 2-1. And in the bottom of the 8th, the Mets have a chance to tie it up as Darryl Boston rips a Jay Howe pitch to the right field corner. Mackey Saster's going to try and score from first, but Hubie Brooks hits Juan Samuel. He throws to Rick Dempsey, and Saster's out at home plate as L.A. goes on to win 2-1. Mike Hartley gets the win. He's 4-1. David Cohn gets the loss. He's 8-6, and Jay Howe picks up his 9th save of the year.
Today in Seattle, Ben McDonald and the Orioles play the Mariners top of the first inning. ESPN's Dave Fiziak and Dave Campbell start the play-by-play.
Well, there goes the no-hitter. Okay, we'll have to alert our network stations that Matt Young's no-hitter was just broken out with nobody out in the first inning. Alert the network stations and also SNS. Young's no-hitter, no reason to cut here anymore.
Excuse the blatant plug. Bottom of the first inning, Greg Briley will hit a 2-run shot off of Dave Johnson. Breaks up the shutout for Johnson in the first. Number 4 for Briley, RBIs 26 and 27 as he picks up Harold Reynolds, and it's 2-0 Seattle. We'll take one more look at the beautiful swing by Greg Briley on the 2-run homer off of Dave Johnson, and Briley knows that it's gone. Bottom of the third inning, Greg Briley up again. He'll hit a ball that goes off the top of the wall. It's first rule that it was not a home run, that it went off the top and not over the wall. Jim Lefevre comes out to argue, saying that it was a home run, and after consideration, the umpires overturn it and say that it was a home run. So we'll take one more look at the ball in slow motion and see that it does go over the wall, and it should have been ruled a home run. For Briley, it's his second home run of the game, his 5th of the year, and it gave the Mariners a 3-0 lead. The Mariners would add 3 more in the bottom of the third inning, and it's make this score 6-0. Move now to the bottom of the 6th. Matt Young working on a shutout. Here it gets Tim Hewlett to strike out on a called third strike, as Matt Young working on a shutout against the Baltimore Orioles. But in the top of the 9th inning with the score 7-0, Hewlett will get his revenge as he gets a base hit off of Young. Mike Devereaux will come in to score, and Seattle is leading 7-1 over the Orioles. Still in the top of the 9th inning, Young will finish this game up as he gets Chris Hoyles to fly out to end the ball game. The Mariners win 7-1. Young the winner. He's 12-7 as he throws a 5-hitter against the Orioles. Dave Johnson, the loser, he drops to 5-13 on the year as Ken Griffey Jr. hauls it in and makes Matt Young the winner for the night.
Field in Chicago, the Cubs are hosting the Houston Astros. Greg Maddux on the mound for the Cubs, and in the top of the first inning, he strikes out the very first batter, Eric Yelding. Moving now to the bottom of the second inning, Chicago takes a 1-0 lead. Luis Salazar hits a solo home run to left center field. This is the 11th home run for Salazar, and it makes the score 1-0. And in the bottom of the second, the Cubs threaten to score again. Joe Girardi hits a blast to left center field, but Casey Candell makes a nice running catch and goes into the wall. Then in the top of the fourth inning, Candell hit a single with the bases loaded that scored Biggio and Caminiti and gave Houston a 2-1 lead. It remained 2-1 until the bottom of the sixth inning when Ryne Sandberg came to the plate, and Sandberg hit a 2-run home run to left field, his 28th of the season. He leads the league in that department. DeCenzo was on base for this, so the Cubs took a 3-2 lead in the sixth. In the bottom of the seventh inning, the Cubs add 2 more runs off of Larry Anderson. With 2 on and 1 out, Doug DeCenzo with the infield single as Billy Doran has no play. Luis Salazar scores, RBI number 17 for DeCenzo. That made it 4-2. Ryne Sandberg added his 3rd RBI of the day later on to make it 5-2 with a sacrifice